Before I get started, I just want to thank you all for the birthday wishes and for your prayers regarding my mother's cancer. I got a good feeling we're going to beat this. There's nothing like support to get a person through these trying times in life. Now, Nell. Hi, Nell. It's Uppity. I cover love and marriage Huntsville, giving commentary on your show and current events, etc. I want to share with you why this recently released trailer is not going to bode well for you at all when it comes to not only the Love and Marriage Huntsville audience, but any progressive Black woman under 40 for that matter, not to mention forward thinking women who were ahead of their time, your age and above. You said Martell doesn't deserve to go to jail in a conversation with Stormy, even though he is evidently guilty of the crime. I remember the scenes in which Martell was screaming at you, Melody's mom, Kenya Moore, and other women. He acts like that because there have been no consequences, no checks and balances to inspire reformation in his character. Please like the video. He does what he does because we, as Black people, give Black men the freedom to go rogue within and against our community in the name of standing against institutionalized anti Black racism. I don't like to see Black men incarcerated either now. However, if you do the crime, we cannot say it is unfair for you to also do the time. It wasn't just a text message, Nell. It was revenge porn. That is domestic violence. That is a crime of a sexual nature. Uh, that revenge porn has already allegedly been just shared with members of your cast, Ariane, and at least one of her family members. Revenge porn is sexual assault, a felony for which one has to register as a sex offender. Nell, did you know that 50% of all women who have gone through revenge porn consider suicide as a solution? It's true, and I'm one of them. I fit right into that statistic. The level of humiliation is nearly unmatched. Mind you, Martell was drumming up a story with Ariane to suggest that it's not him in the video depicting Mel performing fellatio, when in reality it is. Martell was going to have Ariane leak his sex tape with Melody while claiming it is Mel in a hotel performing oral services on a mystery man, in hopes of ruining Mel's life and reputation, of course. This information I'm sharing with you now, it's backed by recorded and publicized discussions with Ariane and others. This is not merely hearsay. The only reason jail can even be discussed is because these are hard facts. And before I go any further, I have to give this disclaimer. Everything that I'm saying here is allegedly, in my opinion. Although we do have some facts here, I still have to say what I'm reporting is these are allegations, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. Now, Carson Blue blew the whole smear campaign open and told Mel what was happening. Catch this though, Nell. Carson told Letitia Scott the entire plot, and Letitia did not tell Mel. Carson didn't know Mel at the time, right? She was Letitia's hairstylist. So Carson told Letitia, hoping she'd warn Mel. And when she refused, Carson finally, after getting on the show, she was able to tell Mel what Mel already had enough evidence to confirm. And Mel went on Instagram confirming that Carson wasn't lying and how she knew she wasn't lying. Mrs. Fletcher, do you recall that high tea party you went to hosted by Mel about a season ago? Well, yeah, that's when Letitia knew all the way back then about the revenge plot and refused to tell Mel what was going on. Is that someone you feel like you can trust or rely on for a sound moral compass? You ended up sitting right next to Carson Blue without even knowing what was happening right under your nose because Martell and his flying monkeys have been conspiring against Mel since season one. That's the real reason millimeters exist, as a response to watching a Black woman bullied all by her lonesome with no one near her to defend her. We became her defense. Now, the killing part is that you know what Martell is like up close and personal, yet and still you give him a pass for all he's done to Mel, saying he doesn't deserve jail time. If it could have been worked out, it would have been long ago. So why even offer that up as a criticism, Nell? The average Black woman under 40 believes this makes you something Black feminist thought leader PhD Bell Hooks referred to as male identified. Women who center the wants, needs, perspectives, and persuasions of men over women. We also call this a pick me, right? Not a very nice name, but these are women who betray themselves and other women for the sake of being acceptable to men. Now, the harsh truth is that some Black men deserve to be locked up, as with any other race, ethnicity, or gender for that matter. I hate to see my sisters disproportionately behind bars, but I'm not going to pretend like I've not met sisters, Black women, who absolutely deserve it. It would be in violation of my own integrity as a journalist who in between every opinion claims to report on the truth. We cannot blame Mel for what Martell should have restrained himself from doing. You cannot dictate someone's response to your poor behavior. Martell is a wild card and you know it. You also know that the issue cannot be resolved because the crime was already committed. How much longer do you want for Mel to be this ever forgiving saint who lets every offense slide? Would you want for your own daughter to take a man like Martell, to take something like what Martell does, lying down, forgiving and just by and by letting everything go without consequence? Or would you want her to put up some boundaries and fight for herself? I think we all know the answer to that. The slander against Mel has become so violent that it encompasses her youngest daughter. And some of this is Mel's fault because she too was once like you, into excusing the inexcusable. Boundless depths of forgiveness are for God alone, not mankind. Yet we hold Black women in contempt if they do not forgive unconditionally. We call them bitter and broken if they do not forgive unconditionally. Why you still, oh, you just mad? When in reality, that is a trait best known for belonging to the God of Ibrahim, Isaac, and Jacob. And even he has created a hellfire as a prison, punishment, and purification that, according to your logic, Nell, shouldn't even exist. I don't know. I don't know who we are anymore. People are calling Milani the illegitimate bastard child of an affair that in reality Knox Maverick Miles Morales Holt is. They are trying to destiny swap Milani, that innocent baby, also known as Sugar Mama, with the child of Ariane Curry by calling her what he actually is. Does that not affect your heart's place of compassion as a mother? Speaking of being a mother now, didn't little Chris go to jail? Do you feel like he shouldn't have gone because maybe it was something that could have been worked out? Was it unfair? If so, give the boy back his dogs that you withheld from him due to inaction, neglect, and failure to contact anyone regarding his dog's health due to inborn neglect as a natural consequence of his incarceration. Looks like you felt he deserved consequences that you alone upheld, but somehow Mel needs to let Martell slide. You won't let your own son slide for something lesser, far lesser. But if Mel needs to, oh, I don't believe in that, and if it can be resolved, our Black men are okay. Lead by example and forgive your son, Chris. And actually, all of the money, all of your children owe you. Forget about it, and give Chris his dogs back, in spite of his failure to rise to the occasion of pet parenthood. If it's not fair for Martell and his criminal activity to be punished by incarceration, then surely the same would apply to your incarceration of your son's canines. Or could it be that you only see the pain and repetitive forgiveness in what happens to you when you have to clean up after the messes of your adult son repeatedly? No, you've instituted consequences for little Chris due to always having to clean up after him, in as much as Mel has after having to clean up after Martell repeatedly. How is this something you don't? It's like you can't have compassion for it. It's like you can't empathize. You know, Melody went with her good name to the governor and got Martell's criminal record expunged, only for him to turn around and commit criminal acts against her. So much so, he went and got a gun, allegedly, while Mel was at his door, telling people before this incident how so called violent she is. Mel is petite and can't do nothing to nobody like Martell. Hell, the Scott brothers can't do nothing to Martell. He could take them both at the same time. He went and got a gun while Mel was at the door, trying to prep people for what seems to be like what he's planning as a final act of desperation. Nell, have you been ignoring all of this? Have you been ignoring their very public court documents that have made national news, wherein he calls his son not a maggot, but it rhymes with maggot and it starts with an F, choking him, punching that little boy deep in his scrotum sack, another abusive? Have you not have you just been ignoring this? Because ignoring the actual reality, that's the only thing I could think of that keeps people on Mel's case. Because if you know all of this about Martell, I don't know how you could excuse it. Somehow you find is excusable and it can be worked out, but everything is excusable and can be worked out just because Martell is the black owner of a prostate gland. Being a black man means he doesn't deserve to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law just because other men have been treated unjustly so. Because of our innocent Tamir Rice, Emmett Till, and Philando Castile, the very guilty Martell Holt gets to walk free, huh? Because of our pain watching Rodney King and Amadou Diallo meet undue extreme levels of violence, the Martell criminal Holt gets to walk free? Just because there are so many black men doing time for crimes they never committed, whether they were framed or evidence was planted on them, Martell doesn't deserve to go pay for his crimes against his own family? That's a perversion of compassion, and you know it. Martell is not Elijah McClain. He's not Ahmaud Arbery. He's not some innocent, well to do, upstanding black male being racially profiled. He's a terrorist terrorizing his own family. Or, we as black people have got to note the difference or understand that we are doing to us what anti black racism also does to us. Now, the one being unfair and unreasonable right now is not Melody, it's you, sis. Did you know that every 5 hours in America, a black woman is murdered? And approximately 98% of the time, it's a black man she knew and loved, a son, a brother, but more often than not, a spouse or a lover? Did you know this, Nell? There's a whole black femicide going on in America, not just in America, but we're talking about America. So let's just stay here for a moment. And Melody Cherie Rogers fits the second most primary description for the victim of such crimes. I said, Mel fits the second most primary description for the victim of such crimes. The number one victim being the pregnant black woman. That don't hurt your heart. Pregnant black women are more likely to die from murder than pregnancy complications. And we all know we are the nation's number one victims of medical malpractice leading to matricide. As a rule, women in domestic violence situations are at the highest risk of losing their lives once they have left the man that realizes it's actually over and she cannot be persuaded to return to him. That's when they are at their highest risk, statistically speaking, of losing their lives. That is where Mel is now. But in all of this, somehow you sort through the evidence and come up with loopholes for Martell. Meanwhile, Melody and her children are more worthy of favor, mercy, grace, and empathy. Why are we rewarding Martell's bad behavior by punishing Mel for her good behavior? We forgive narcissists and tell their victims to shut up about it and move on. That's oppression. Oh, mom, Uncle so and so touched me. Well, you hush up about it and you put on some more clothes. Okay. I mean, that's what it's giving. I mean, I hate to bring it there. That's what it's giving. No, I don't know if you know this already, but this is going to cost you your nail bills and social standing among black women in general. Only women, only women other women cannot trust are going to support you in this regard. This is a lowly opinion to hold and to have. We no longer think in the post Reconstruction ways of using Black women as human shields for Black men. Black men have taken out more Black women than Black men have been taken out by the KKK and police combined. Yet we scream and shout about one while only whispering about the other. This is madness. This is mental illness. The killing part about it is that Black women, myself formerly included, right? My ears are closer to my own mouth. My ears are closer to my own mouth than yours are to mine, okay? The killing part about it is that Black women, myself formerly included, have given Black men full range to run amok in our communities. Because for generations, we were afraid of Uncle Sam taking them from us through death or incarceration. Meanwhile, they take themselves from us, knowing we already outnumber them by a good 3 million by becoming the world's most likely demographic, aside from Chinese women, to date and marry outside of their race. This is an unrequited love Black women are going through now. And we think proving our loyalty to Black men will turn them back to us. It hasn't, not for generations. But right after we lay our lives in the line for them, they're Jeezy, somewhere with Jeannie Mai, living it up until something goes wrong, only to kneel long us for safety. Like, this is incorrigible. This is incorrigible. At one time, a racist white supremacist thread on the Black community was exposed. This is a long time ago, long, like when I was an undergrad. In summary, it read, the Black man is the pinnacle and the most primary concern of the Black community, more than women, more than children, more than money, more than education. That is what was said by people who were studying us as a community. That actually hurts. If you have any pride about your community, that actually hurts, because we know the children deserve that spot. Anyhow, what they said, about the Black man being the pinnacle and most primary concern of the Black community. This is why Martell can feel comfortable in his buck broken manhood to say something as effeminate as he wants Mel to protect and provide for him. He didn't even feel insecure saying that. He felt like he had a right to say that, when that is typically the role of a man. This is why we're living in a sassy Black man apocalypse today, because we've allowed our men the privileges of kings, giving them only the responsibilities of toddlers. In order to bring black, excuse me, in order to bring back traditional masculinity in the Black community, we must first honor our own femininity by rejecting low behavior. You wonder why these men call us masculine and praise other races of women above us. Know this, that it is our perverted extremes of compassion that makes them devalue us so. We accept what no other group of women in the world accepts, and that's on my passport. And having lived in the Middle East, we have become Black men's men. We have become their men to the point where they can hardly love us romantically. Black women have become the warrior class of fighters and are on the front lines, outnumbering Black men, putting our bodies in front of white SWAT teams and riot gear, talking about some Black Lives Matter. To who, though? Because no one takes us out more than Black men. Who? Black Lives Matter to who? Who are we trying to convince? Damn, that's a harsh criticism, but we're trying to convince other folk and can't convince ourselves. Look, this is why Martell cheating on, beating on, and stealing from his family is only a minor issue to Negroes. We as Black women have for generations betrayed ourselves, becoming these ride or die women for men. It wasn't the solution then, and it isn't the solution now, because look at the monsters we've created. Just look. Just look. You think Martell is the only Martell? There are so many people watching the show who are triggered because they've had a Martell in their lives. And this isn't just their fault. It's our fault too. We have been calling boys men, trying to get romantically selected, all the while we're the strong men our mothers hoped we'd marry. Black women have become unmatched in our perfection for men who demand we are tens on a scale of 1 to 10 in order to choose us over a Latina 5 or a white 4 or an Asian 3. The way we buy up cosmetics and plastic surgery and get degrees and certifications and cars and houses and start businesses, we are impossible women living an impossible standard. We're out here being superwomen and we're human. No one's created to be that way. No one's created to carry that load. But we're so busy trying to get picked by men who don't value us. I'm not saying all black men, but enough. Now your feelings and beliefs in this situation are antiquated. I'm not going to speak on all of who you are because as far as I know, the rest of you is beautiful. The rest of you is just fine. But now your feelings and beliefs in this particular situation are antiquated. And this is a solemn invite to download some upgrades into your heart, mind, and soul. These days, we honor that black women, not as feminists who in reality exclude black women. They use us and exclude us, but women as we as womanists who put mitochondrial Eve, who is the black woman, first. We know that uplifting and protecting the Black woman as a community necessarily results in an improved overall Black community. Malcolm X said it best: the mother is the first institution of the child. You educate a man, you've educated one person. You educate a woman, you educate a community. It just happens that way. Nell, I hate this scene for you. I hate this for you. What it does to black women feeling like they can or cannot trust and believe in you. I don't like this for you. These men you're protecting are only going to give you a little pat on the back, just like Marceau does to Letitia before he goes and salivates over a woman like Kyra from Ready to Love, who would never betray herself and other women in the same way. Maybe talk to your daughter about it. I know y'all don't like being fussed at by millimeters, but I'm telling you, it's more than us who think this way. The Bible says, my people suffer for lack of knowledge, and therefore be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your stance is antebellum old. Try on something new for size, Nell. There's nothing wrong with a humble retraction. But I mean, if this is really you, stand on the business you claim. This includes my invitation. Hoocha. I'm uppity and I'm out of here. Before I'm out of here, y'all go on ahead and let me know in the comment section what y'all think of this. Um, because in my opinion, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. Black women are. You should. When I lived in the Middle East, man, black women were running everything that was American. Everything I came to that had any kind of Western influence, different parts of the universities I worked in, because we're impossible women in America. You know they nigga us, they bitch us, they whatever. Internationally, they're like, you're capable of this, and this. I'm making you the head of the department. What are you talking about? How are you this consistent? How are you this? I mean, how are you this educated? How are you this capable? Like all over the world, people, man, when people run into the reality of a black woman, they're like, you fucking superhero. Excuse my language. I'm trying not to cuss now that I know that my nieces and nephews watch my channel. I'm embarrassed. But I'm telling you, from personal experience, these Arab men, these Asian men, they're like, whoa, these Asian men recolonizing Africa, the way that they talk about black men, I'm like, how are they even in that country? If your men had they talk crazy about the men and they praise the women. They respect the women and they have no regard for the men. And that ends up being a pattern with us, and I hate that for us. I hate that for us because I rest his soul, Mr. Uppity was a strong, powerful PhD pro black, I mean, just pinnacle ideal, like just I hate that for the black men who are actually amazing, that the world fears and respects and upholds and values black women more than you because we do more than you. And you have forced us to. We have to be a perfect 10 with long natural hair. We got to be a certain size just to get you to pick us over a white woman on her third black baby daddy, because you so much hate yourself, and you value having that proximity to whiteness in your kids and in your, it just the weakness, the fact that people are this mentally molested in the mind that they hate themselves so much and they don't want to admit it, but you see it in the things that they do. It doesn't come out of their mouth and words, but you see it in their actions. And we end up with these perfect, I can do everything black women. The stereotypes about black women is how you get things like the OK Cupid thing, where they're just like, oh, black women are rated the least. But when we go out in public and people see us for real, when the stereotypes are fallen by the wayside, when we perform, we are some of the biggest objects of people's jealousy. We make people so damn insecure. Women of all races, of all cultures, fixated on us. And you want to know why? Our black men put us through the fire and demand perfection, just for us to get some love, just for us to get some companionship, just for us to get a Negro to stay. We do everything. You should see some of these white men when they start dating and marrying black women. Did you know that statistically speaking, the black man and the white woman are 6 times more likely to get divorced than any other interracial pairing? And the strongest, longest interracial pairing is a white man with a black woman. Did y'all know that? Are y'all reading books? Do y'all know who Ralph Richard Banks is? Are y'all reading? Are y'all studying yourselves? Did y'all look at the Pew reports? Did y'all look at blackdemographics.com? It's crazy. You know what these white men are saying? They're like, I can't believe a woman like this exists. These white men have to perform for their mamas. They have to perform for their women. You better get out there and take a bullet for me. You better get out there and get me an NFL ring. What are you good for? These women are raising just strong, powerful men because they're not pussyfooting with these men. And then they run into a black woman. They're like, what do you mean you cook and you clean and you have a job and you're going half on everything with me? What do you mean 50-50? What do you mean you do all of this? I'm in love, marry me. I'm in love, marry me. I ain't never met love like this before. What do you mean this level of loyalty? What do you mean I commit a crime and you're here every single visit bringing my kids? Could the other women have abandoned their men? And here you are. Here you are, loyal Doyle. What kind of woman is this? How do you exist? How are you so ideal? It's crazy. The way other people, I mean, because the stereotypes get in a lot of people's ways. The sapphire, the Shanae, all this stuff, the mammy, it gets in people's way. But when they actually, because 75% of all white Americans, I had roommates in college who didn't, and I know I'm getting off the subject of Nell, but it's just because her mentality it has triggered me. And I have to give her some grace because I wasn't always here. I had to educate myself and I had to live to get myself here. Okay. I had to open my mind. I had to study to get here. And I realized some women haven't paid that cost to be that kind of boss of their own mental situation. I've had to do a lot of work. And it's hard work to do. Shadow work, dark work, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to do on yourself when it comes to levels of self improvement. But I have been to Qatar, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Zanzibar, Cape Town, South Africa, Riyadh, Medina Munawwara, Saudi Arabia, bro, the way people freak out about black women, especially African American women, is unreal. There is a trend among white and Italian billionaires. Not that Italians aren't white, but just go with me here. They keep marrying black women. And yeah, they're marrying the Jamaicans, and yeah, they're marrying the Haitians, but they're marrying African American women more because we're cheapened by our own men, and we say, "Daddy, do you like it? It's not good enough." Okay, I'm gonna do this. Is it good enough? Do you okay, okay, is it did I get it this time? I was number one. I was Flojo. I was Simone Biles. Is it good enough? I was Beyonce. Was it good enough? I was Janet. Was it good enough? And we're over here trying to be good enough for the men. Meanwhile, we go somewhere else and they're just like, are you even real? We're dream girls. And so many other contexts outside of our own because of the rejection from within our own culture, because of the cheapening within our own culture. And men aren't going to stop doing it because it benefits them. That's why decent black men, it'll be a good, wholesome black man, a good church boy. I don't want to cheat on nobody. I love my black women. He got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 women throwing themselves at him because he's a good one, because he sees us for who we are and he loves us down. And we done pressured him into all kind of infidelity because we just alone, if you take away jails, if you take away homosexuality, if you take away inept failure to launch, I live in my mama's basement at 43. If you take all that away, black women still outnumber black men by 3 million. How are we pairing among ourselves? How are we pairing? If you take away the drug dealing and the drug abuse and the felonies and the incarceration, like we already outnumber you, and then you go outside of your race to pair. And meanwhile, you got women like Nell saying, I don't care if you cheat on her. I don't care if you beat on her. You deserve some grace. You deserve some love. Come in, let me make you a pie. Let me fry you up some chicken. Let me get you some collard greens. I don't care if you went and got a gun and you went to that woman and you was threatening to shoot her out of. Oh, you don't deserve no. I don't care if you're a sex offender. Nicki Minaj, oh, come marry this wealthy black woman. Oh, you just a black man and I love you so much. Oh, I just like goddamn. Their mediocrity is forcing black women's excellence. And here's the deal. We talk a whole lot about black excellence, but excellence is exhausting to anyone. Y'all know Olivia Pope's daddy and that conversation, we have to be 10 times as good to get half as much. That applies to outside of our community and within our community. And it sucks. It sucks. It's hard. It's labor and it's a burden no woman should be carrying. It's unreal. Nell, you're on the wrong side of history, and I'm just inviting you to get on the right side. Black women have paid too much. We have paid it all. We have Jesus on the cross. I was listening to a white man on TikTok. I can't make this up. I can't make this. He said black women are Jesus. Look at what they do. Look at how they act. Look at what they've done. Look at what they've forgiven. Look at the miracles. Look at what they do. I'm getting a headache. I'm getting a headache talking about this. Mel is many black women. And that's why so many black women support her. Many of us are Mel. We are impossibly beautiful and dutiful, good daughters, good mothers, educated, businesswomen, busy all the time, starting our days at 3 and 4 a.m. She's a lot of us. She's a lot of us. Mel is unique in her own special ways, but she's also every woman. That good old Whitney Houston, Chaka Khan, I'm every woman, it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. It Black women are under an insane amount of pressure. Oh my God. You got Asian guys on TikTok talking about some black queens forever, snow bunnies never. What the hell? They got one black girlfriend and they're freaking converted. One. And they're like, I don't know how to do this. You can't go nowhere. Tell me what you need. I'm gonna get it for you because I ain't never had love like this before. We have to overperform within our communities. So when we go outside of our communities, we can, hell, we can relax. We can relax by 50%, by 75%, and still be dope as a companion. You see all these men in love and marriage Huntsville riding on their wives' backs like they're workhorses. Everything in Tisha name. Kimmy's a whole sugar mama and she don't even know it. She was a sugar mama before sugar mama was born. She's a sugar mama. Bought a house and put that man's name on it and used all her good nursing money to put that man through law school and he's still a mediocre lawyer at best. Sending false documents to YouTubers. I can't, y'all. Kimmy is a pick me of the worst degree. But you think I'm a lie to myself and lie to you and tell you that woman ain't impressive? The mind on that woman, the stamina on that woman, the health on that woman, the way she raised her son, the school, the nursing, the money, the decisions, the real estate. You think I'm gonna tell you that's not a whole superwoman? Does she have the mentality of a mouse? Sure, sure. Of mice and men, sure. But her accolades, her resume, hell, Sonny, Moses is Sonny. Have y'all seen her resume? It's unbelievable. And that nigga Moses, I'm sorry, Sonny. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry because I like you. I hope you're not offended. But the best thing on his resume is probably his smile and his body. If a black man got all his teeth and some muscles, it's a good man, Savannah. It's a good man, Savannah. Good. Praise the Lord. You got a man. How do we balance this out? You got niggas like, oh God, forgive me. You got men like Simone Biles' husband, half of her. She's the GOAT, greatest of all time. There wasn't a Simone Biles before her, and there won't be one after her. There won't be one after her. There won't be one after her. The whole GOAT. And she gets herself on TV with her mediocre football player. Soon enough, people are going to stop calling him Simone Biles' husband, and they're going to start calling me whatever his name is, his wife. Still don't know that nigga name. It don't stick. It don't stick. We're gonna act. Y'all, I'm tired. I am physically tired. I'm finna take a nap. I am physically tired of this conversation. Wow. I am physically tired. Um, I didn't mean to go off like this at the end of the video. That was not planned. It wasn't planned, but this was harsh, and I don't mean to be a jerk. But Black women are going through multiple intersectional levels of oppression. And it is as bad within our community as it is without. I said it. I said it, especially if you're a monoracial, dark skinned black girl with 4 black grandparents. I mean, good God. Good God. You can get away with a little mediocrity if you light enough. If you some kind of quadroon, octoroon, light skinned, red boned, whatever it is. But good God. The oppression on top of oppression on top of oppression. It's a lot. And we excel because we're not given a choice to fail. We're not given any other option. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm tired. And Stormy, I suggest you do something about your spirit. Um, it dropped into my spirit that you can't take the feedback that I give you. Stormy, I think you act hard, but you're soft and fluffy on the inside. Watch your spirit because your face is starting to freeze in the same position as your mom's, and I don't think you want that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your mom's face. I'm just saying this this expression, your mom looks like she feels this way all the time. So I'm just going to gently say, I suggest you get back to your sound bowls and your chakras and your sage and really go after that piece because we start to look like who we are. When you're young, you can get away with it. After a good 30, 31, who you are and how you feel most of the time, how you carry yourself starts to show up on your face and body. Okay? That's all I got. I ain't got no more. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. Y'all, I'm tired. Don't I sound tired? I am tired. Oh my God. Oh my God.